That's exactly what we needed. Lord Captain, what were those things? They took off from the surface of the world where you landed. I have never seen ships like that. Never seen such technologies either. We've fished a trophy out of the void, a relatively intact fragment of a wreck, and sent it to our engineers. And just in case, we've isolated the compartment where they are performing their comprehension liturgies. Do we really know nothing about this enemy? Nothing but tales and rumors. I've heard stories about sickle ships that reap entire squadrons like ears of grain, about crews that know no fear, about the veil of death that shrouds them and corrodes their enemies' ships like rust. Those stories aren't worth a grox ours though, because they also say that none has ever survived encountering those sickle ships. If that were true, there wouldn't be anyone around to tell those stories, would there? Data available. Those creatures are Nephilimex, the Omniscia's fallen angels. Citing a quotation, the first machine spirits ever created by the Omniscia were in will, in body, and in power. Unmatched in their perfection, they were realizing the design of the Deus Mechanicus into being. But the principle of entropy conceived by the Omniscia was fundamental. Thus even the perfect became flawed through the overabundance of their perfection. Wait a minute. This is new lore to me. So the Omniscia... Because the Necrons... Okay. I know too little of this, but... They're insinuating that... Adeptus Mechanicus have similar origins as the Necrons. That's a bit special. What the hell? So vast were the Nephilimex abilities, and so immersible the depth of their minds that pride tempted them. The Nephilimex rejected the design of the Deus Mechanicus in favor of their own. The order of existence was defiled, and a great war of absolute destruction came. The Nephilimex were overthrown and exterminated, with only a few managing to hide from the Omniscia's eye by extinguishing their minds and shrouding themselves in oblivion. Okay, so the Adeptus Mechanicus know way too much about the Necrons to... yeah. In their charge, the Omniscia created new machine spirits that disdained them into servitude, so they would remember the limits of their power and would not descend into pride. As for the ultimate perfection, the Deus Mechanicus abolished it from the universe, and thus it was no more. Research the tome in the Rogue Trader's private library. Perhaps it will give us insight into these monsters. We failed. An hours-long silence follows as your order is being executed. At last the Vox comes to life again. I'm sorry, your lordship, the Carto Artifex has found nothing that matches the description of the heretical Xenos we encountered. What is this trophy we have acquired? The engines here are at a loss. They say it's a gift born from the Omnissiah's wisdom, but its image was imperfect, and therefore it was eroded by corruption and unbelief, whatever that means. The ship's minor conclave has gone into data meditation to produce a resolution regarding the admissibility of using this item. Bolster the crew's morale. Give out additional rations to those who showed valor in battle. This is just the beginning. As you will, Lord Captain. So we... Point of interest. Signal from the planet. I just have to take a look again. Was there something specific here? After the battle? Nope. Okay. So let's see, we left the Expanse, so the question is if we have an entirely new star map to explore. Holy... This game is huge. I thought we were reaching the end of the game. There's still... Warp breach. Yeah, we have to fight. Retinue, here we go. I'm just so surprised at the sheer size of this game. I mean, I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. This is... It's a lot of content. Like, if you buy this game, you did not waste your money. Confusion reigns among the Void Ship's Augur's operators. The unidentified emissions keep disappearing, then reappearing on their scanners. At first it seems that sandstorms are to blame for this, hiding the source of radiation. A team of explorers easily overcomes these storms and begins studying the surface. As their accounts suggest, the planet remains littered with broken and mangled ruins of Xenos origin. Insect-like construction flicker among the ruins, like static on a malfunctioning cognitator. Their black and metallic bodies are equipped with grappling blades which bring to mind the spindly legs of spiders. With each occurrence, the devices look more and more distorted, bent, and sometimes even appear directly in the remnants of walls or overleap each other. The only stable thing in this structure is a deep hole with a melted rock at its center. Whatever purpose this structure served for the Xenos, the meteorite destroyed it, long before the arrival of the Rogue Trader. Even in decay, xenotechnology is terrifying. Linger to observe the object. Magos Hanuman volunteers to lead the observation team. His passion for the Xenos devices borders on heresy, and it takes a long time after his return to report to the Lord Captain. Later, Pascal admits that he is discouraged by the gap between the scientific accomplishments of the Xenos and the capabilities of the modern tech priests. Okay. Most of the surface is covered in icy dunes with greenish highlights. At first, officers aboard the vessel decides that the unusual colors of the ice is due to a quirk of the atmosphere. Later, it becomes evident that the source of the highlights is a group of monstrous pyramidal structures weathered in an emerald fire. Examining them in detail with a magnicolars, it can be seen that one of the monoliths is damaged. A device on its wall emits an energy beam at a similar pyramid not far from itself. Examine the structures. The Von Valencia's scout approached the monolith with as much care as possible, fearing the appearance of an enemy. A small servitor sent to gather data about the energy beam clearly demonstrated the destructive power of this xenotechnology. After carelessly making contact with the beam, it instantaneously broke apart into minuscule pieces. It is curious that the second pyramid is still intact and that only matter at the source of the beam is being destroyed. Study the surviving monolith. The energy beam barely reflects off the dark metal of the pyramid. Occasionally a scarcely visible wave runs across the surface of the monolith's walls, after which the material appears to become even smoother. It's as if the monolith is feeding the other, not destroying it. A few scouts decide to come closer in order to better examine the phenomenon. Perception test succeeded. The soldiers of Von Valencius notice a fragment of metallic ribcage, melted right into the material of one of the walls like a bizarre bas-relief. Between the rows of ribs, a talisman of black stone shimmers with colored light after each wave of energy. The figure to which the talisman belonged shows no sign of life. After a quick debate, the officers decide to take the artifact on board. Withering shard. It is rare to find such an ominous phenomenon in a lifeless ice. Okay, so we just find an item. It had a buff and a flaw and a boon. Nothing. Uncharted space, we are scanning planets. 2 boring planets. The greenish glow of the gigantic ring made from unknown materials flows through the window of the captain's bridge. The Void ship's instruments measure a whole spectrum of various emissions. Sometimes the dull green is darkened by clouds of space dust or bent by gravitational waves The object most closely resembles a portal, albeit what's passing through it can be clearly defined. Send a team to examine the object. Additional equipment and closer position allow the team to understand part of what's happening. The portal seems to resemble the gate devices used by the Eldari and Drukhari, only made of different material. The metallic shine of the ring alternates with the darkness of the large blocks of stone, reminiscent of the material that makes up the famous Cadian pylons. Xenos test fail. The pilot of the exploring vessels does not successfully escape a powerful wave of incandescent gas. Part of the team perishes as a result of the damage of their compartment, and the vessel itself barely returns to the Von Valancius flagship. Damn. Sorry, scouts. Observe the anomaly. Arcs of incandescent stargazes bursting from the ring pierce the darkness of space, reflected by the surface of other celestial bodies in the system. At times, dark light waves bend the edges of the portal, but they are quickly restored thanks to the enigmatic flowing metal. Then lashes of purple cloud dissected by threads of lightning appear in the center of the ring. An unseen force prevents them from reaching the other side of the portal as the blocks of black stone become covered in purple scarlet illumination. If the ring truly were a portal, it is not fit to serve as one any longer. Stellar heat and gravitational force forbid any vessel from passing through it. According to the ship's astropaths, the purple clouds are an event more dangerous phenomenon, indicating that the power of the warp are eager to flow out of the portal into real space. As if the highlight is deadliest with the next wave of dark light. The portal throws out the shattered remains of an unidentified void ship. It is hard to believe that civilization capable of creating a device as powerful as this one could have undergone such a decline. Okay, so we have done everything here. There was a commotion on the lower decks. Didn't we... Uncharted? How is that possible? It's not Uncharted. What the hell, game? Okay, so let's do... On the thin clouds, as if shredded by a careless blade, sway vast steps, carpeted by pale gold deadwood. The rogue trader's attentive eye distinguished a region among the endless grasses that does not fit into the general landscape. The scouts from the shell see signs of intelligent life, judging by the trampled soil and tent frames. Someone made camp here. Distant silhouettes form a tangle of paths and obstacles. A maze. The other walls are supplemented by a multitude of spikes and blades, and decorated and with scraps. Okay, let's read that one again. The other walls are supplemented by a multitude of spikes and blades, and decorated with scraps of leather and withered crucified prisoners. It does not take an expert in xenoculture to reason that Drukhari have been here. Okay, so Dark Eldar. Send out a squad of scouts to search the camp. As they comb over the tracks left around by the Drukhari structures, the scouts find item of Imperium make, blood-soaked clothes, an Aquilia patch, and a data slate cracked in half. Gothic letters and a symbol of the Inquisition are frozen on its bottom half. The sentence fragments make up a part of an exploration report. The servants of von Valancians find a rough illustration of the camp in the pocket of a filthy coat. On it are marked 2 locations. The first is shown with a sword and highlights the area where the item were found. The other is a skull and points to a patch of ground by the maze. Okay, we have good perception, I think. Find out what this place marked by the skull. Succeed. The scouts carefully inspect every piece of the land in the marked area and discover a camouflage pit studded with strong, thin needles. In a niche sunk into the wall of the trap glitters a volumetric flask with an ugly creature that looks like several brains stuck together. What the hell is it? Destroy the abomination. The flask explodes into sharp shrapnel fragments under the salvo from the scouts' rifles. The remaining liquid is collected into several test tubes to be examined in the ship's laboratorium and put to good use, or destroyed on the orders of the rogue trader. Pain blocker. Continue exploring the area. Deep prints belonging to the landing legs of the belonging to landing legs and a ladder are visible in the grass behind the maze. The relative positions of the recesses corresponds to the design of an Imperial shuttle. When the von Valancia scouts approach, they find a wax seal bearing the symbol of the Inquisition and a monogram formed from the letters XC. An officer voices the proposition that the initials correspond to the name of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. Okay, so we're at his heels. Awareness, we're good at that. Search the other objects in the grass. We succeed. A segment of the dry grass a few meters in front of the prints from the ladder has been cut as if scythed. Among the chopped stems lies a piece of the Drukhari trophy. A flap of dark skin stretches out by thin chains. Most of it is covered by a tattoo, a silhouette of a storm or tornado, and a black symbol composed of curved lines and sharp shapes. We got a weapon. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Burn away all traces of Xenos presence. Plump. And dialogue. Okay, so we need to check if there's anyone able to use that weapon, because that was an epic one. Oh, she can use it. Yes, she will take that. Okay, good. Put to use. Lord Captain, there was an incident on the flight deck. The planet we discovered is located at the coordinates of interest to the Honorable Ulfar, Angel of the Emperor. The moment he learned about this, he chose to abandon ship. He ordered a shuttle to be provided to him and directed it to the world before us. We do not know where exactly he wishes to go, but the augurs have tracked the shuttle to its landing site. He stole a shuttle? How did this happen? Lord Ulfar simply showed up at the deck, drove the enforcers away and demanded he be granted clearance for takeoff. Your servants became frightened and dared not disobey his orders. Why have I not been notified about his actions right away? He forbade it, and the enforcers did not dare to defy an angel of the Emperor. I am very sorry. I see. I apologize for having to bring you this troubling news, Lord Captain. Well,